My name is Robert Haik, and I'm a senior. Before I begin, I'd like to ask my dad, Rob Haik, to stand up. That's him. That's the guy I'm talking about. My dad and I have been coming to this Mass and dinner every year since I was in 8th grade. It's something both of us have looked forward to and enjoyed, and not just because of the steak dinner. For me, the best part of the Father-Son Mass always was seeing a senior pay tribute to his dad amongst an audience composed entirely of fathers and their sons. And during their tributes, I would find myself reflecting on my own relationship with my dad, and now he's made me into the young man I am today. And so since 8th grade, I've imagined what it would be like if I got the chance to speak at this event. Needless to say, when I was asked to speak, I didn't hesitate to say yes. So I'm here to recognize my dad, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity. You often hear that kids grow up viewing their fathers as superheroes, or these larger-than-life figures who could reach up and grab the moon if you asked them to. In the eyes of a young child, his father can do just about anything. In some ways, I still feel that way about my dad. I heed every piece of advice he gives me and constantly strive to make him proud. He's been there for me my whole life, and he's done so much to make sure I succeed and be the best that I can be. When I think of all the times he has set his work aside so that he could support me and my sisters, I see what it means to be a loving father. For example, every summer from when I was 4 until I was about 12, my dad would coach either my baseball team or my sister's softball teams at Carrollton Boosters. And to make things more complicated, my 2 sisters and I are triplets, so that's 3 times the stress and 3 times the expenses at the same time. But he made it work. He scheduled practices and bought equipment and dealt with difficult parents. He would even drive across town so that kids who didn't have a ride would be able to go to practice or go to a game. And he did that every single summer. To this day, there are a good number of kids who know my dad as Coach Rob. And I learned a valuable lesson from my dad being my coach. I learned that it's not about winning, it's about having fun. And he didn't just say that because we were a bad team. He said it because he meant it. Because for my dad, the most important thing was that we had fun. My dad is my best friend. We are extremely close, and there's no one I trust more than him. Some of the most thought-provoking and meaningful conversations I've had were with my dad. I don't have my driver's license yet, so one place we talk a lot is in the car, especially to and from school every morning. As an 18-year-old senior in high school, having to wait for my mom or dad to pick me up is not the greatest thing in the world. But honestly, it's only bothersome until I get in the car. Because as mortifying as it is to be that guy, the guy who has to get his dad to drive him to his job and then pick him up, I love spending that time with him. It's something I'll really miss when I go to LSU this fall. My dad talks to me about his work and things that most sons might find boring. It's very humbling to have your dad talk to you about how to handle raising a house or ask you to come along to witness something for a client. I felt that because my dad and I have been able to talk about almost anything, he's already preparing me to be a great father. I'm not just saying this because I want to score some brownie points. I mean it when I say if I could be anything like the father my dad is to me, I'll know I'll be doing a good job. That's something I think about a lot. What would my father do in this situation? Well, for one thing, because my dad's a lawyer, I was taught very early on how my actions can have consequences that might not seem like in the here and now, or beyond the here and now. My parents have done a great job teaching my sisters and I to be responsible. He's taught me how to be honest and to never sell myself short. He's shown me what it means to work hard. He's shown me what it means to be a good Catholic. He's the greatest father in the world for a million reasons. And that's what's great about dads. Because a dad is an educator, a friend, a guide, a protector, the list goes on. They're all of these things at once. And why do dads do all of this? A dad does this out of love. My dad goes to work every day so that he can provide for his family. That's a wonderful gift. To all fathers out there, know that your sons are constantly looking at you as an example. I can't thank my dad enough for being a great example to me. He's the hardest working person I know. My dad's also probably the funniest person I know. He can make anybody laugh. He especially loves to make his kids laugh. Like all dads, his dad jokes are as corny as the day is long, but it's often his stories that crack us up the most. He seems to have an endless supply of crazy stories from his days at Lusher or De La Salle or LSU. And whenever we ask him to tell our friends the crazy stories, it sounds like something out of a movie. Hey, Dad, tell John about that time you and your friend got chased by an ostrich. And that is a real story. My dad has an ostrich story, and I can't thank him enough for that. There's also the time he and his friends held a boxing tournament in his backyard and sold tickets to all the kids in the neighborhood. Or the summer he got emancipated from his parents at 17 so that he could be a garbage man for the city of New Orleans. The stories are endless, and he's always ready to cheer us up with one of them. I can't think of a time where I didn't have my dad's support. He took me camping when I was in Cub Scouts. He went to all my plays at summer camp. He took both of us hunting for the first time when I told him I wanted to try it. And I did all of these things because I had his backing. I have him to thank for all the great memories. Even recently, when I started making music with a good friend of mine who's also a senior here, my dad became my #1 supporter. On New Year's Eve, he drove me to Guitar Center so that I could buy what it is that I needed. He even spotted me $30 when I came up short at the register. And as embarrassing as it was to ask the lady to wait so that I could call my dad, it was just another way he came through for me. I'm lucky to have such a great dad. Like I said before, I still view my dad as a superhero. He's a great lawyer, an even better husband, and the best dad a kid could ask for. I truly, truly wish everyone could be as lucky as I am to have him as my dad. Dad, I love you.